Florida State versus LSU is one of the marquee games for Week 1 of the 2022 college football season. The Seminoles and the Tigers are set to meet on Sunday night in New Orleans. Let's take a look at the storylines, the keys to watch, the players to watch, and what might determine the outcome. I'm Stephen Lasson of All CFB 365. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at All CFB 365. Before we dive into the matchup, let's take a look at a couple storylines surrounding these two teams coming into Sunday night's game. The first thing is these two programs are just looking to get back on track. Since the start of 2020, Florida State and LSU are just a combined 20-25. Keep in mind, both of these programs have won national championships since 2010, so both of these programs are looking to get back on track. Of course, Brian Kelly's taking over at LSU in his first season. There's a lot of mystery surrounding this team with just 6 returning starters. Florida State seems to be trending in the right direction under coach Mike Norvell. They are 6-3 in their last 9 games, although Florida State did miss a bowl game last year at 5-7. The Seminoles opened up the 2022 season with a huge and easy win over Duquesne, as expected, 47-7. Florida State rolled up 638 yards of offense, 8.4 yards per play, and allowed just 164. So both of these teams, to some extent, are a bit of a mystery. There's also a lot of intrigue for both just to get back on track this year. So the fact that they're meeting up in New Orleans on Sunday night for Week 1 just makes this a fascinating matchup and should give us a good idea of where both these teams are as they look to get back on track. For Florida State to win on Sunday night, it needs a huge game from quarterback Jordan Travis. In the 9 games that he has started since 2021, Florida State has averaged over 34 points a game. In the 4 starts that he didn't, the Seminoles averaged just 17 points a game. So clearly, Jordan Travis is a quarterback that can make plays on the ground. He's improved as a passer. He completed nearly 63% of his passes last season, so he has progressed as a passer to go with his mobility on the ground. His mobility is the X factor on Sunday night. LSU's defensive line is probably the best position group on the field. Mason Smith up front, BJ Ojolari coming off the edge. That group for LSU will test a revamped Florida State offensive line. Center Maurice Smith is banged up, not sure if he will be able to go on Sunday night. Florida State, from an offensive line perspective, has struggled in recent years. There's some optimism that this group has turned a corner. However, it will be interesting to see how it matches up against LSU, especially when you consider Florida State had 3 100-yard rushers against Duquesne last week. One of those was Trey Benson, a transfer from Oregon that I think can make a bigger impact as the season goes along for the Florida State backfield. Another thing to keep an eye on is the revamped secondary for LSU. This is a group that brought in several transfers this offseason. How the pass rush, how the defensive front of LSU meshes with that secondary this early in the season will be something to watch. Florida State also added weapons through the portal, including Micah Pittman and Johnny Wilson, giving the Seminoles playmakers on the edge who can win some one-on-one battles. So I think it's a question of, we don't know a lot about Florida State's playmakers because of the easy matchup in Week 1. We haven't seen LSU's secondary yet. I'm interested to see how all the new faces play on Sunday night. We mentioned the word mystery earlier in reference to LSU, and it certainly holds true on offense this season. LSU comes into this game with a question mark at quarterback. Will it be Jaden Daniels? Will it be Garrett Nussmeier? Nussmeier has made some noise this offseason. Miles Brennan opted to retire, so it's a 2-man race at the quarterback spot for the Tigers. Jaden Daniels and his mobility could be an X factor for LSU, especially with the question marks along the offensive line. LSU does not have a returning starter up front. True freshman Will Campbell could start at left tackle. Also, LSU averaged just 3.3 yards per carry last season. Running back John Emery could be suspended for this game. So it will be interesting to see what LSU does at the quarterback spot. Is it Jaden Daniels for the entire game? Does Garrett Nussmeier start for the entire game? Do both quarterbacks play? Do they go with a hot hand after switching early on? So keep an eye on LSU's quarterback situation. Keep an eye on how things unfold up front. Florida State lost standout edge rusher Jermaine Johnson to the NFL. Jared Verse, a transfer from Albany, made a good impression in week 0. Florida State is strong on the interior with Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper. Similar to when Florida State has the ball, it will be interesting to see if LSU is able to protect for Daniels or Nussmeier, especially with the weapons that LSU has outside. Kayshon Boutte is one of the best receivers in college football. LSU's receiving core should be one of the best in the SEC this season. So if LSU can protect its quarterback, there should be plays to be made downfield on Sunday night. Now that we've looked at the storylines and what to watch when each team has the ball, let's make a prediction. LSU opened as a 4-point favorite. The line has dropped to 3, so it's been steady in favor of LSU. On paper, I think this is a pretty even matchup, and the odds makers agree. The over-under is right around 51.5. If the sports books are right, it will be around 27-24 in favor of LSU. ESPN's SP Plus likes it LSU 28-24. We at the staff of All CFB 365 like LSU to win a close one, 27-24, in what I think is one of the more intriguing and potentially one of the best games of week 1. I'm Stephen Lassen of All CFB 365. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, All CFB 365. We're going to have great college football coverage all season long. And check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at All CFB 365.